Alright, so in today's video we'll be talking about the Meta Quest 2 wired versus wireless and the different interfaces you can use, and let's get into it. Alright, before we get started, I'm just going to shout out JayBratt. He's the one that is letting me use the Quest 2. I lent him the index, so go check out his channel, see his review on the index, and check out the other links down in the description for my videos on the Quest so far, and more to come. So let's start talking about it, wired versus wireless. Alright, so we all know that the main point to the Quest line is to have VR more mobile and be able to take it places and not have to be tied to a PC. But there are some limitations to that, at least right now with the Quest 2, where you can't really interact with the environment as much on the home screen, which is a good and bad thing, I guess. Some people enjoy having that like home section inside of VR systems or just systems in general. And so I'd love to see them improve that, especially with what I've seen with SteamVR and the Oculus Rift Home or whatever that is called through the Oculus app on the PC. And so there's a lot they can improve with the Oculus OS, however you want to call that. I don't know if they have an official name for that. Let me know down in the comments if they do. I don't know if they have an official name for the OS that it's running on. And as I stated in my previous video of just my first impressions of it, it does feel a lot like a older Android or very primitive OS where you don't really get a lot of feedback from the OS about things that are happening, as well as you can't really multitask, as most of the games, I haven't found any actually, that allow you to go back to the home and do something real quick. And so they had to make it so you could interact with the HUD and be able to manipulate it that way. But I know that SteamVR doesn't really do this either, but there is a way of doing that in SteamVR, since you can just go to the computer and change the program that you're choosing to run at that time and not run it through Steam if you don't want to, and just run it directly and then run Steam Home as well. So there are some ups and downs of that. For the most part, I enjoy the OS and everything being wireless. My points still stand from the initial video, so go watch that, and I'll have a full review going a little bit more in depth on each subject in the future, so subscribe to get notified when I do that video. And so for the most part, wireless is great. Let's go ahead and jump into talking about it wired. So I'm not using an Oculus branded cable, but I am using a Anker one, and I don't think that there's as much of a difference that I can see online around them being different, and I haven't seen anything bad about it. So I don't think my experiences are from the cable itself, but I just bring that up in case there is something in the future and that I find that is around this cable, then at least you know I'm using a third-party cable and not an Oculus one. For the most part, experiencing SteamVR Home section of it is really good, and navigating the little pop-up that comes up and all of that is really good compared to the index that I have. But the drawbacks come from latency when there's a lot of objects on the screen. I think this mostly has to do with technology that exists for monitors that doesn't exist for VR headsets right now, that I know of at least, where AMD specifically has FreeSync and NVIDIA has their own proprietary thing for keeping the frame rate of the VR headset and the PC output the same and not having that tearing or anything like that happen. And so I think that that's mostly what I'm experiencing, because I was using it in 120 frames per second or 120 gigahertz mode, and I was experiencing a lot of issues with Beat Saber and one of the MMOs. I'll put on the screen the name because I don't know it right off the top of my head, but it was having some issues when a lot of things were going on. But if not a lot of it was happening, then it was definitely better. So I think that is definitely the frame rate is dropping and the headset doesn't know it, or it doesn't know immediately, so it kind of hiccups a little bit. That's mostly what I ran into with running SteamVR on my PC and then using this cable to hook up the Quest 2 to my PC. Most of the issues were just what I was saying before, as well as the normal things that I'm having critiqued on the Quest in my initial video, where the tracking is not great because it's just on the headset and doesn't have base station, so it's kind of difficult to move your arms in certain directions without moving your head as well. And before I give my summary and recommendation of how to use the Quest 2 on PC, I also use the Oculus Home I think is what it's called, the Oculus Rift Home, whatever we want to call it, through the Oculus app on the PC. And I actually quite enjoyed the interactiveness of that. Originally, I was going to write that the Quest 2 doesn't have that great of a home experience, but I think that they're doing the best they can do with what they have currently. Maybe a Quest 3 will improve, and they can take some from the Oculus app on PC and bring it on over to the Oculus OS, Quest 3, and just improve what they have with the current one. And I don't think that SteamVR is doing too much ahead of what the Quest 2 can do standalone. I've been using wirelessly and standalone hand in hand. You can connect your Quest 2 to the PC wirelessly. I've just been referring to it that way. But yeah, it's standalone. The standalone OS is great as a starting point. I think the Quest 3 will improve on that. And so for the most part, I find that standalone or connected to a PC, the Quest 2 is really good around playing the game, but it does have some issues. It's only a second generation product. I understand that people think that the second one should be better than the first, which I'm pretty sure it is. I've never used the first one, but I'm sure they've improved upon it, and maybe the 3 will improve even better on it, or just a little bit, and it'll just be little integrations through upgrading through the Quest line. They may change the names as well, so that's beside the point. But yeah, I've had a great experience with what it is and how much it is with it being plugged into the PC, as it's not really the main feature of the system. I can say that as a secondary feature to be able to plug it into the system, it's a great option for people that have a Quest 2 already and want to play PC games and maybe take a little bit more advantage of it. Just know that you have to tinker a little bit more than you would normally with the Quest 2, since there is multiple apps between the game and the headset, as well as the PCs in the way, right? So just know that you have to go into settings and maybe tune it depending on what graphics card you have, and make sure that you don't try to push it too hard, otherwise you get a lot of issues, like I've said in this video already. But I'd love to know your guys' opinion. If you guys have a Quest 2, let me know down in the comments your guys' experience plugged into a PC, and let me know other opinions you have on the Quest 2. What games do you like on the Quest 2 that you can't get on maybe SteamVR, or games that you can't get on the standalone OS but you can through the Oculus app? Let me know down all those games and everything on your opinions on that as well. And before we get out of here, like this video if you liked it, dislike if you don't, hit the subscribe button and then turn bell notification on to get notified when we upload new videos, as well as when we go live. I've been streaming on this channel now, and my stream schedule will be on Discord, as well as I notify you on Discord in case YouTube doesn't get around to it. They're a little flaky sometimes with serving so many notifications. Make sure you also look down in the description for Twitter and merch and a bunch of other links down there. Affiliate links and all of that are all down in the description, so go ahead and check those out. And as well as make sure to go check out Jay's channel and look at all his videos. He's got a bunch of VR videos and everything, so if you guys like VR, go subscribe to him. Make sure you follow him for all of that. And thank you very much, Jay, for letting me borrow the Quest 2, and there'll be another video up on the channel around my final thoughts and full review of the Quest 2. I still don't know if it's supposed to be Meta, Facebook, or Oculus. I think it's supposed to be Meta, but they still refer to it as Oculus on most things that I can see, especially when they're sending out products, so maybe they haven't fully changed that. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.